hold some skill points here until he knows how he wants to use them, but we see instant aggression on a Midas Club.
Well, I mean, that's just a very standard arrow from the Mirana. I mean, either you get a stun on the hero, which is fine, or you get a last hit on a creep, and you're pretty okay with either circumstance. So it's just an arrow that you like to throw out due to a lot of harass the Venomancer early, who is not really one of the tankier mids.
Top. So, Footsie just started running at the Omni. The Omni got caught by the rock.
49 kind of at the lower part of the lane.
This is a very tense situation here. I would imagine we're going to see Bloody Nine throw a Gale as soon as they get in range, just to slow the movement here. And they're rotating everybody in except the Slark.
A big Starfall comes around. Bloody Nine will fairy fire himself up. Can he stay alive with this Ignite on? Looks like he's going to have enough survivability for it. Taking down 24 health. Meanwhile, the Mirana has to get away. Repel's going to be put on her. She drops down a couple of stars, but it ends up not mattering at all. Burrow Strike in 1 second. Ready for the Ogre Magi. They'll pick him up, and the last hit comes in from Rubik as well. They pick up a 2-spot at mid and continue their aggression. Footsie's ready with the hook. Possibly could do some damage to the Omni Knight, but he would probably eat a Purification in the face for that. And
he got one bounce on him and it went straight to the creep wave, doing, you know, the 280 damage or whatever it's going to do. So, a little bit of a sad use for the first Omni, but Bloody Nine whiffs his Gale on the Ogre and is absolutely going to pay for it.
Yeah, we did see that one. I don't know, I guess the ball looks a little bit, or is actually a little smaller than it was.
It's not uncommon to see this, but a lot of times when you have a relatively free lane, you'll skip either the PMS or the Aquila and go straight for the Shadow Blade so you can start hunting earlier. And another Burrow coming in on the Warlock.
Yeah, basically no way that he gets out of that one. And well, the creeps end up taking him down, even though the Footsie had a ton of damage with the Rot and the auto attacks there. But in any case, Warlock takes a death and he gets a Flesh Heap over to stack over to Pudge. As soon as he levels that up, Bloody Nine in a lot of trouble at mid. These wires aren't really going to be doing enough. Bloody Nine hooked up by the Pudge, but it doesn't really matter. The Ignite doing more than enough work to get him away from the Rana.
That's really sad. If Footsie poured him behind the tower instead of in front of him.
Rotation over to the top lane. We got a smoke in from Midas Club. Juggernaut and Ogre Magi are going to be leading up the forces here. Moonlight Shadow going to be giving them the element of surprise here, and it looks like they might have just gotten onto the Slark. Absolutely no chance to get out of that one. They will use the Omni Slash for it as well, and they possibly could go on the Trough here. Just definitely a good skill for the Rubik to have, but he might be a little bit far in here. Ogre Magi going underneath the tower. They're going to drop out in the Ignite on Sark, who should be able to stay alive. He's got the ultimate available. They're going to Purification right onto the Ogre Magi. That's a huge amount of damage. Rubik, can he stay alive? Oh, the Mirana dropped a little bit far away. That's going to be Burst Strike onto 2. Epicenter is going to be there as well, chasing down the Magic Immune Juggernaut, but it's just a little bit of icing on the cake. Oh, nice dodge there from the Sand King.
The bottom's leap still down for a few seconds. This Burrow's going to connect. I don't think they get
and a leap. I mean, maybe this fight takes a lot of damage, and they might have gone a bit too far. Mirana, she's very low, but Sand King, he can't go in far enough, and his Burst Strike wasn't up fast enough.
The greed is so real.
It is, man.
Fairly large misplay from Brink there. When the bottom did leap in, she don't avoid the first one, and he ate all that damage. Yes, most of it was purified off, but it did put him in a little bit of a weaker position. And so when he went in on that bottom, he just died. Beautiful hook though from Footsie.
Yeah, sometimes these heroes just aren't really thinking about the fact that there's going to be a Pudge on the map, so it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. I'll give you two options. You can have inappropriate and appropriate.
Wow.
Just kidding, you get absolutely nothing. Mirana's going to get going a little bit here. Rockets dropped down on the 3, and now End really forced away from this one. Fatal Bond still doing a lot.
We're going Shadow Blade, so he's not going to be tanky. Bloody Nine is so far off of where you want to be on a core Veno right now that he's almost a non-factor.
They just had the edge of vision there, but now Omni kind of walks right in, gets hit with the Purification. He's went on by himself, but Pudge tries to do a little bit of damage through the Dismember. Now Brink comes in, doing some nice damage to Mirana. They need to be able to take it down, and they get enough damage with the Burrow Strike into a hook. Now Sand King takes the Purification both ways. Epicenter going to get used, going right for the Omni Knight. They have a Burrow Strike in 3 seconds, but it doesn't matter. He's slowed down enough. They are able to find the kill. It's a 2-spot on the top lane. Midas Club trying to lick their wounds as they get back to their own base, but the creeps still take the tower.
Oops.
We'll call them Winions.
Which is fine. But I think there was definitely some opportunity for counter potential there.
Arrow is going to hit onto the Trough Rubik though. He's basically got no chance there.
Radiant's middle tower
Finally loses the purification. He's held pretty much the entire. It's a little scary to try to look to do anything at this point. Did you see what the bottom just did?
He just jumped into the trees and TP'd away. Or TP'd over to the tower. Oh my god,
Yeah.
Epicenter's gonna be in, and Pudge is gonna hold her there as well. Hook in. What?
Radiant's bottom
So
tower is
she
under
leapt
attack.
away, got stuck in the trees, and decided, well, I'm totally fine right now. Venomancer.
Bottom tower
Whereas Midas
is under
Club, they've
attack.
gone for a smoker now, heading over to the bottom lane, but they have a couple of heroes here with some stuns. Smoke's gonna get broken, and Ruby's gonna get caught out inside the trees. He's just dead. I don't really see him getting out.
Is
he does
he,
drop
though?
the word down. Yes, he's dead. Stop it, you.
TP.
No. He's dead.
I had faith.
I know
had
you had
total
faith. You had faith. I'll come up with what you have faith for next, but Epicenter's gonna be dropped down onto 2. Ogre Magi, he's taking a lot of damage from this. Juggernaut does manage to get an Omni Slash off. Hook is actually gonna get missed. Rocket's dropped down onto 3. These Dire Heroes are taking a lot of damage. Mechanism already used by the Bloody 9 Venomancer, and now Dire on the free array from this one. Trop has already been brought down. Footsie very low, but that's second.
If he didn't catch that 3-man rock into bonds.
It just seems like every time End aren't really prepared for that rock coming in. And Sark is going to be here. Takes care of the healing ward. They do end up getting the hook on the the arrow on the Pudge. And Juggernaut's going absolutely ham, going right for the Slark.
From them, they've got a nice little tempo lead built up. They're recovering their net
Oh,
worth
Sand King
deficit.
finds a stun onto the Warlock. They'll stop that TP out of here. Rubik also going to pick
You
up
just
the
let him
Shadow
go.
Word. Yeah, of course.
It would have been way more sad if that gem in his stash was actually on him at the moment, but I think that's going to go on Ogre before the Slark picked up his Zyko Saber in the first place. It's going to be more difficult now and going to keep getting harder to burst him as Slark gets more items, but Brink has had trouble finding pickoffs since he picked up the Shadow Blade. Usually once you get the Shadow Blade, you want to go punish the supports like the Warlock that is now holding the gem with only 1,000 health and really not a lot of armor to his name. So I would like to see them find him and maybe just Shadow Blade Brink up with a smoke, maybe a Sand King smoke, something like that, and get this gem back. That could pull 900 net worth right off of Midas, and it would be a huge pickup for them.
Healing shock.
Well, they're going to run
And we
right
do
into
see the
Ogre
smoke.
Magi. Unfortunately, that's not the guy with the gem, so we keep that safe for now. But Omni-Knight's actually running in here right now. Same with the Juggernaut. They're kind of doing the pincer movement on this, and don't really want to engage at all. The Warlock is on the high ground. He just got that D-ward up. That's going to be the burrow strike through. Epicenter right on top of him. They do drop down the rock for this, but it's only onto 1, and Warlock's going to go straight down. That's the gem on the ground. Oh, Venomancer does get hit by the air. They need to take care of the Warlock ultimate, but that's a purification onto 2. They're going to get the stun off, but Footsy's just trying to walk away. Mirana taking a lot of survivability from the Omni-Knight. Guardian Angel and the Repel keeping her alive for now. And Brink runs, very close to that arrow. Knows that he can't go there. Now he's going to go over to the trees while his Shadow Blade gets back up. He's in the trees, managing to avoid this, but he's going to be right on top of the purification. And Juggernaut still manages to find the kill even when he goes into the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of saving him there. He could have tried to Shadow Blade TP instantly and just hope. They do grab the Mirana again on the leap.
And they should be able to get her here. They get the Dismember off. They need some vision for this. They get the Sentry Ward down. Mirana's just going to walk right through it, lift it up in the air, and hit down. But Slark, he's forced to Shadow Dance in the mid lane. Does get the leap to the high ground. His Shadow Blade's going to be on off cooldown in 5 seconds. And he could actually re-engage on this. He has the rest of his team showing up here at the mid lane. Radiant just kind of have to stick around each other right now. Slark and the Moonlight Shadow that was stolen by Rubik. And now he's going to go for the leap. Actually misses it completely on the Juggernaut. He's forced the Shadow Blade away from here. It's going to be a burrow strike onto the Omni-Knight. How much can the Dire Squad do here? No Dismember available from the Pudge. He just absolutely wrecked by the Diffusal Blade of the Juggernaut. And now the Jug's also going to chase the Sand King right down. Who even needs this Mirana? Another Diffusal Blade right onto the Slark. We'll just get that.
Juggernaut had level 16 already at the point that Omni Slash hit Footsie, and he just sliced through that Pudge. It was like it was an Agi hero or a support. It was so squishy.
Rock does get dropped down as we were talking about. Rubik stole a spin and does make it away from here, but Sark is kind of left on his own right now. He's forced to go into the Shadow Dance. Air just expiring before it hits Bloody 9, but he might still be in a ton of trouble. Air, the hook comes through, picks up the Mirana. Can they actually kill this one off? That would be a great kill for them, taking her down for the second time this game, second time in a couple of minutes. Now Omnilite getting caught out, but these heroes are just so very low, very squishy against the Radiant side. Guardian Angel comes out. Slark taking a lot of damage here from the rock. He really can't, he's not able to fight against that thing. Futzi looking for a good hook. They need to get the Juggernaut out of here. He's so super low. And Dire, you can tell that they really want to go for that kill, but they're just not going to be able to. Hook slightly off the mark on the Ogre Magi, and the Slark's going to try to man fight this one. Oh no! The Sand King goes for the Burrow Strike and immediately takes the punishment from those illusions. Now Hook coming in from the Pudge just off the mark. Ogre Magi staying alive. Trough to the high ground. Blinks forward, gets the lift up in the sky. Juggernaut gets a nice repel on him. It's a bit unfortunate that End don't have a Diffusal Blade on their team just yet. They could definitely be using it against the Radiant side pretty well here.
It really is. The struggle is, who do you buy it on? Your Venomancer isn't at the point where he's 2 items ahead and literally is just bathing in gold. But I don't want to see him just run across the river here like this. I get Slark can see if they have wards or not, but this is a very aggressive play from him. They are going to catch this gem, though.
Yeah, they get the Warlock down again, and Slark is ready for another one. They get the dust off onto a few. Juggernaut could be taking the fall here. He needs to get the Omni Slash off. He's just going to spin to try to get away. Sand King has to get away from here right now, but his birthday's going to be up in 5 seconds. Can they actually chase this down? Slark's going to go forward, looking for another one. Omni's going to get caught out. Mirana's going to be there. They might have enough damage for this. The Warlock's down. They don't have a rock. Brink staying alive right now. Into the ultimate. Epicenter going to come through. Not doing any damage to the Omnilite, but a ton done to the Juggernaut. That is just going to be the Aegis, though. All stun comes out on the Omnilite. That's also going to be a burst strike through. Can they take down anyone else here? But see, no dismember for another 20 seconds, and Brink is taking so much damage from the Juggernaut. They can't do this too hard, but they're actually going to be able to take him down. And standing strong. There's, oh my god.
Yeah. So if you look at Brink, he ended up peaking at 32s and shift stacks that fight. That is such an obscene amount of agility that he was hitting hard enough to outdamage the Juggernaut through the spin. You come to expect from a 30-minute Pudge, all in favor of the throwing 4-second hooks at your face. So either really confident in his hooks, or
yeah, just hit by so much magic damage. That's going to force stuff away. That's going to be the rock onto a few. But is actually so tanky at this point. Goes in for the Poison Nova, and maybe the Dire want to initiate off this. Epicenter comes through. I'm mean, taking a lot of damage from it. Dismember actually onto a Repel Juggernaut. What exactly is the Slark able to do against this? Because, you know, this is the kind of fight where you want to see him just going for the backlines of the sports, but he's just getting absolutely nothing done. Gems on the ground. Dire getting cutted all over the place, and Mirana uses the Ghost Scepter on herself. Gets purified up. And Enchester able to do nothing against this. As soon as that rock comes...
I think this definitely favors Midas Club because they have a team that wants to 5-man.
Mirana's going to get caught up by the Weep, and she doesn't have a whole lot of her team there. Warlock needs to come with the ultimate, but Mirana's just not going to be able to stay alive. Now he's got a burst strike onto 2. They need to get that Epicenter off. It's going to be there. Rock gets dropped down onto 3. This Warlock is going to be doing a lot, but the Epicenter's still doing a lot there. Arrow comes through, but it's immediately taken off by the Slark. But now he's getting bashed up by the Juggernaut. That's going to be the Aegis spent by the Slark. Can End do anything here? They kind of pose up around those trees, and Mirana kind of blinks right into the middle of 3. Gets a Starfall off onto a couple. Brink has to get in here. Burst Strike comes through. Mirana taking a lot of damage. Actually leaps right over the hook. Now the real Omni Slash comes in. Futzi taking so much damage, and Juggernaut just cleaving right through all that. Just kidding. He doesn't have a Battle Fury, but he's going to keep chasing right after End. Slows down Buddy 9. Can Brink actually do enough damage here? Goes into a spin, doing a ton. Mirana has somehow stayed alive. Venomancer trying to back away, but it's just not going to be nearly enough. Arrow will finish him up. Slark comes in the backside, but I think he might have forgotten that there's still a gem on the Omnite, and he could definitely get chased down a little bit here. But in the end, End lose their gem. Get it? In the end. Terrible jokes. Anyway.
It actually, I believe once the team fight comes up, it's going to be break even, if not a little bit End favored. The bottom did buy back there. Yeah, that
is true.
It's Brink's staying bottom right now, expecting his team to be able to hold this off, but they don't have the wave clear to do this.
Now Bloody Knight's going to get cut off. There's going to be Omni Slash. Nice 4-step away, interrupting that Omni Slash. Juggernaut kind of deep here. There could be a Dismember, and there's going to need to be a rock from the Warlock. He needs to walk in, but they're doing a ton of damage to the Juggernaut. Takes a lot, but the Guardian Angel stolen by Rubik. These guys are going to be staying alive a little bit longer, and Brink does enough damage to the Juggernaut. Big Epicenter on the backside of this fight. Triple kill for the Slark. They're going right for the Mirana. They need to take care of their rock as well. Mirana just wants to get enough Starfall damage off. Will be able to kill off the Venomancer, but that's just a small comfort for her. Only the Ogre Magi staying alive in what was an ultra kill for Slark.
This seems to be the point where Juggernaut realizes, okay, I'm big.
I mean, it just turned the table so much. You had two teams that were basically guarding Greaves up, and then, I mean, one was able to focus, the other the better, and now the world gets dragged right back in. No rock for 80 seconds, so this hardly matters. But now we've got an Ogre Magi getting stunned out. Oh no. We talked about some good steals, when now Rubik has a Bloodlust.
This is looking bleak, and this is exactly the situation you want your Pudge to be in.
He does get stunned. He needs the Shadow Dance to get away. And actually, that was another Omni Slash used by Jigor on the side. And the Radiant do see a couple Pierres coming through there. Arrow hits onto the Sand King, but Rubik gets away from there. There's going to be a repel onto the Mirana. Looking for the rock, and it needs to get dropped down. Will be there onto 2. And now there's going to be a rock stolen by Rubik. They'll put it right back onto the guy who threw it himself. Epicenter coming onto 2. The supports are all dead. Juggernaut, he just absolutely disappeared. And they thought about getting this Mirana. Gems all over the place. It's like the Essence shift. And the Radiant are going to try to do everything they can here. But this is where the rock goes to work. Now Mirana, she's actually forced to just leap in. Is going to get hit by the Dismember, but now the E-Blade will come through, doing a lot of damage, and the Omni Slash actually being able to work to its full extent here. But Brink's already taking care of the Mirana on the other side of the fight. She'll buy back immediately. Spark has to be a little bit careful here.
It's near unwinnable at this point.
Arrow just off. Now Rubik might be in a little bit of trouble. We're going to see the Rubik trying to get away from this. It's going to spin away. And Ogre's going to go right for him. Mirana into the pit. There's going to be a poison over there. Guardian Greaves gets used, or Guardian Angel gets used. Juggernaut trying to spin around, trying to stay alive. There's going to be a nice repel on him, keeping alive for a little bit longer. And the Mjolnir shield is going to help him out, but Sarkis goes right for it. He doesn't care about those stars dropping on him anymore. Pudge gets a hook out on the Ogre Magi, finding the kill, and that's going to be 4 dead and the GG. Ends cannot stand against this, and in the end, well, it looks like End are going to scale just a slight bit better behind the Slark, and some good plays by the rest of their player core there.
I mean, I don't even know if you can call it scaling. Juggernaut made a massive
I just
miss
did.